In this podcast episode, Candace Owens discusses various topics including her experience as a mother, the rise of hypermasculine podcasts, the state of education, and her views on homosexuality and transgenderism. She also touches on the rumors surrounding Barack Obama's sexuality and his influence on the current administration. Candace Owens begins by talking about her role as a mother and how it has brought her a sense of purpose and confidence. She encourages women to embrace motherhood and believes that it is the most important contribution one can make to society. She criticizes the societal pressure for women to prioritize their careers over starting a family and believes that this narrative is a lie. The conversation then shifts to the rise of hypermasculine podcasts and the current trend of men speaking out and saying whatever they want. Candace acknowledges that this shift is a response to the previous dominance of hyperfeminine podcasts and believes that it is a natural balancing act. She mentions the Fresh and Fit podcast as an example of this trend and notes that it has gained popularity due to its savage and unfiltered content. The discussion then moves to the topic of education and the role of teachers. Candace expresses her belief that teachers have had too much power for too long and that it is now shifting as parents are becoming more involved and questioning what their children are being taught. She mentions the recent school board meetings where parents have expressed concerns about the curriculum and believes that this is a positive development. Candace also criticizes the current state of manners and chivalry, particularly among men. She believes that men should be more proactive in helping women, such as holding doors or offering assistance when needed. She attributes the decline in manners to the influence of radical feminism and the belief that acts of chivalry imply weakness. The conversation then turns to the topic of homosexuality and transgenderism. Candace expresses her support for democracy and believes that if a country democratically votes against homosexuality, it should be respected. She criticizes the Western countries, particularly the United States, for trying to impose their agendas on other nations. She also questions the grouping of homosexuality and transgenderism together and believes that they are distinct issues. Candace mentions a recent legislation in Uganda that criminalizes homosexuality and expresses her support for it. She believes that it is important to respect the democratic decisions of other countries and notes that homosexuality is not widely accepted in many African countries. The discussion then delves into the rumors surrounding Barack Obama's sexuality. Candace mentions a man named Larry Sinclair who claimed to have had a sexual relationship with Obama and accuses the media of not properly investigating the allegations. She also mentions letters written by one of Obama's ex-girlfriends that allegedly discuss his homosexual fantasies. Candace questions why Obama has not addressed these rumors and believes that there may be some truth to them. The conversation continues with a discussion about Candace's political transformation. She reveals that she used to be a liberal and did not support Donald Trump initially. However, she became interested in Trump after witnessing the media's portrayal of him and decided to listen to one of his speeches. She was impressed by his pitch to Black America and realized that the media had distorted his message. This led her to question the media's credibility and ultimately led to her political transformation. The conversation continues with a discussion on racism, with Owens stating that racism exists but is not a systemic issue. She argues that the narrative of Black people being unable to succeed due to racism is false and that the media and government perpetuate this idea to maintain a permanent underclass. Owens believes that some people refuse to accept this truth because it challenges their beliefs and forces them to admit they were wrong. The conversation then shifts to politics, specifically the support that former President Donald Trump has gained from Black America. Owens notes that Black men, in particular, are more receptive to Trump's message and attributes this to their common sense and lack of emotional bias. She also praises Trump's ability to connect with people on a relatable level and make them feel good. The discussion then turns to the 2024 presidential election, with Owens predicting that Trump will likely secure the Republican nomination. However, she acknowledges that anything can happen in politics and that debates play a significant role in shaping public opinion. Owens also mentions other potential candidates, such as Ron DeSantis and Pete Veik, whom she finds interesting and hopeful. The conversation takes a detour to discuss Owens' podcast episode with Andrew Tate, in which they had a fascinating conversation about power and success. Owens expresses her admiration for Tate's ability to build a successful career from nothing and highlights the power he has acquired, which has led to him being banned in UK schools. She also acknowledges that Tate is in the midst of a transition and needs to use his power responsibly. The conversation then touches on the topic of OnlyFans and the rise of women making money through explicit content. Owens expresses her concern about the long-term consequences of this trend and believes that many women will regret their choices. She argues that men ultimately want a woman who is theirs and that selling oneself online can undermine the possibility of a committed relationship. The discussion then delves into the case of Nina Agdal, who has faced public scrutiny and harassment due to leaked explicit photos. Owens expresses sympathy for Agdal and believes that the media's obsession with her is unwarranted. She also questions why more women are not coming to Agdal's defense and suggests that the public's fascination with her stems from a desire to see powerful couples fail. The conversation then touches on the issue of pornography addiction, with Owens highlighting the prevalence of this problem among men. She believes that society's easy access to explicit content is contributing to this addiction and causing depression. Owens argues that men need to address this issue and start having open conversations about it. The discussion then turns to the topic of plastic surgery and the pressure on women to conform to a certain look. Owens expresses her desire to see women embrace their natural beauty and stop getting excessive cosmetic procedures. She criticizes the trend of women looking the same and argues that it is not attractive. The conversation continues with a discussion on the documentary series, Convicting a Murderer, which Owens has created to challenge the narrative presented in the popular Netflix series, Making a Murderer. She explains that the series aims to present the facts of the case and shed light on what was left out by Netflix. Owens emphasizes her commitment to seeking the truth, regardless of the race or background of the individuals involved. Owens continues by talking about her new documentary, which focuses on a family dealing with the trauma of having a family member wrongly put in prison. She mentions that the prison calls she listened to revealed the disturbing language and attitudes of the inmates, highlighting the need to examine how easily people can be manipulated by the media. She then reflects on her own experiences of falling victim to media narratives in the past and emphasizes the importance of exploring narratives that may have been misunderstood or misrepresented. Owens believes that social justice movements and documentaries have the power to shape people's minds and explores the case of Stephen Avery as an example. The conversation then shifts to conspiracy theories, with Owens expressing her belief that a healthy level of skepticism is important. However, she criticizes the extreme conspiracy theories that have emerged, comparing them to the narratives pushed by liberals. Owens argues that some conservatives have become consumed by conspiracy theories, seeing connections to George Soros and the World Economic Forum everywhere. She cautions against falling into the trap of seeing conspiracy theories in every aspect of life and urges for a balanced approach. The discussion then touches on the moon landing conspiracy theory, which Owens admits she finds compelling. She questions why humans have not returned to the moon since the initial landing and points out various inconsistencies and oddities surrounding the event. Owens acknowledges that her belief in this conspiracy theory is unlikely to change. The conversation then turns to foreign policy, specifically the relationship between the United States and Russia. Owens criticizes the American approach, arguing that the focus should be on domestic issues rather than intervening in other countries' affairs. She believes that the United States should prioritize its own problems, such as the education system and border security, rather than trying to police the world. Owens also discusses the decline of American society and the need for self-sufficiency. She emphasizes the importance of men learning skills such as hunting and shooting, as well as growing their own food. Owens shares her own experiences of learning to hunt and grow vegetables, highlighting the satisfaction and practicality of being able to provide for oneself. She believes that American society is ill-prepared for the consequences of its actions and urges individuals to become more self-reliant. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.